All right, so pretty much we're going to work on the bump, the UPA. We've been working on the UPA, the elbow escape, the clinch. What else did we do the other day? We did 4.
Behind.
And choke from behind. So for today, let's just try to get through the 3 of them. Bump, elbow escape, then we'll stand up for some clinch work down to the ground, okay? Keep in mind when you do the bump, it's a warm-up, but it's an exercise in proper repetition, so let's not forget that. Let's just try like maybe 10 on each side, but each time you do it, reset. Get back here, you set, maybe your legs are straight. Get in the habit of trapping the arm, bring your legs up, trap the proper leg, and when you bump a roll, we're gonna tuck the elbow, raise the other elbow to push. We're gonna drive and push into that corner, continually driving, right? That's the focus. The focus of this move really, because you guys know this part already, we just forget it sometimes. The focus is to drive to keep the bump continuous and not 2 separate movements like bump and roll. It's kind of a bad name for it because of that, right? So it's not bump and then roll, it's more like bump roll. I'm gonna pull down as I bump up and drive, drive, drive. And when I get here, stay solid, get heavy on your hips, get the collars, hold your elbows in, come to your knees, and establish the position, okay? Each one, repeat the full sequence of the movement, okay? And when you're done, you start again, you lay down. Don't be in a rush, relax. Go again, trap the arm. This leg comes inside. This leg goes around the foot, and we go again, okay? So don't be in a rush to get them done. We're going to do like 10 on each side. Then we'll work on the elbow escape, and then we'll go on the clinch, okay? So hopefully in 15 minutes it'll all be done. And then we'll do some new moves, okay? 1, 2, that's it. Now do this all one movement, Eddie, when you do it. Don't just do one elbow, the other elbow, bump. Don't segment it, just do it all at the same time, kind of. There you go, a little bit better. You notice you had a little bit less tension on the elbows that time. So you start to do too much at once, it becomes a little difficult, which is fine. That's the point of repetition. So when you're going to go, remember, as you bump up, your left elbow is going to tuck down and continue to pull down as your right elbow is in my chest, pushes my chest over. So your hips control my hips, your elbows can try to control my upper body as well. There you go. So one more time. And then when you get there, you're on top. Right here, heavy on the hip right there, grab the lapel, hold yes. And when you sit up, knees a little bit wide because my butt's in between your knees. My hips are in between as you go up. Just go a little wider on it. That's it. Not too wide. Perfect. One more time, Alejandro. So don't go fast on the bump. On the bump movement, go slow so you feel the entire range of motion. If you got me on top of you, that probably wouldn't work. And getting a guy like me up is what you're really concerned with. Good. Keep going, push, push, push. Okay, so when you're falling to the side a little bit. So keep going again. Use your left elbow. As your left elbow pushes up, push it towards me like you're trying to reach me. Look at me, guys. Keep coming this way when you go. Keep coming, keep drive. That's much better. Do you feel a little bit of a difference?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're aiming for. Now do the same thing. Use the grip on the arms, hold the wrist, hold the sleeve. Now your left elbow is going to do what your hand just did. Use your elbow to point at me now. Keep coming, push. That's it, perfect. Now, freeze right there. Make your hips heavy on the ground, like press them into the ground. Reach up and grab my collar with your hands. Turn your fist in and pull your elbows down. Now pull me to you as you go to your knees. That's it, perfect. That's the finish of the sequence. at the same time, Anthony. One at a time's okay, but it's not as good. Show you do the bump and roll. You got the hands on the arm trap. Don't reach that arm up. Don't mix that movement up. Trap the arm and the elbow like you did. Trap the arm, trap the elbow. Now you're going to bump which way? Okay, so put your left arm higher up. Your arm is behind my tricep. Your left arm's high. Yeah, like it's kind of there, right? Now when you bump up into the left, your elbow is going to keep pressing into my chest, but you can also use that as a guide instead of using your arm. You know what I mean? So if you bump up into the left, off into the left, raise your right elbow, because my chest is on top of you. No, don't raise it sideways. So don't raise it, don't open it up this way. It's pushing literally from, like kind of up where it is, towards your other shoulder. Nope, put it down. So not this. It's going to go from here towards the other shoulder. Better. Now keep pushing up the left foot as you do that. Keep going, go. Yes. Now you grab the lapels. Turn the wrist up. Yes. Pull the elbows in. Bring your knees up. Same time. Good. It's just one option to finish the move, right? But it's a good way to tie the move up and end it and practice something decent. How many of you guys up to so far? Are you counting? You're losing count. You're not even counting. Okay. You're probably close. Do 3 more each. 2 more on each side, rather. 2 more on each side. So now when you're doing all of that, also use this left elbow, because you'll have my arm. If my arm's choking your neck and you're holding that arm with the sleeve, so that's up. When you bump that way, if you pull this elbow down, it makes my shoulder fall, and the way I'm falling, my shoulder gets up to assist the movement. That make sense? So if I'm here, if I'm mounted on you, and you're going that way, right? So I got my hand on your neck. You're holding my wrist with your right. You're holding my sleeve with your left. As you bump up and push me into this direction, where I have no balance, right? I'm going in that direction. If I can keep my shoulder elevated, it gets harder and harder for you to push, because it means you have to push me further to facilitate my upending, right? So as you bump, if you hold this arm and tuck your left shoulder, your left elbow down as you bump, it's going to pull my shoulder down. Make sense? So as you bump and pull, so lay down for example, your left arm on the knee, like let's pretend I'm on top of you. So you got my wrist, grab my wrist. Good. Grab my left behind my sleeve. Good. Now when you bump up and over that way, I'm going to kind of go with you a little bit. But it would be more effective because as I went, you pulled my shoulder down, and as I go, my shoulder dips. Because later on, we're going to have an escape where he bumps, and I can slide up to what they call the technical mount. I can shift this way, right? You'll be here, my legs over your body. You bump that way, I can adjust later by keeping my shoulder elevated to slide this knee up and this foot up in front of your stomach. And you missed the mount. To stop that later on movement, if you pin this shoulder down and I can't lift it, I can't go to the technical mount. I can't change my position. So it's understanding what's about to come. So lay down again. Get the grips. Now when you bump over to the left, everything else is good. So keep everything else going right. But your left elbow, as you bump up, it's going to go to the floor as you finish the move. Perfect. Now that much your elbow moved is how much my shoulder has to move. Okay? Make sense, everyone? So that's how we affect avoiding the technical mount switch. Everyone got that? A little new for you, but we'll figure it out as we go. Okay, elbow escapes. There's a couple of key components we're going to remind ourselves of. What are they? There's a couple of key important movements.
Where the other person is.
Well, so always where the other person is. We want to kind of create that hologram, right? So in my mind, if the guy is side mount here, if the guy is side mount across my body, legs here, head here, all of my movements should help paint the picture of a hologram to see what's going on. Now, in the elbow escape, there are some common mistakes that if you just focus on, obviously, they will become less common for you. So always the position, right? That's my starting position. When I do the elbow escape, where does my elbow and knee go?
Elbow goes on top, inside the knee.
Right, on top of it, right. Not touching it, on top. Critical mistake, I see a lot of people make number one. Now, the rest of the movements you guys have pretty good, but here's where the move fails in most cases. I do this, and now I have to kind of pivot the other way, get the leg inside, right? That first pivot is kind of a critical one. Now, it's a big one and an obvious one, but a lot of times people do this, the foot's almost out, and they try to just get it out. They try to pull it out and get it out, and if they're more flexible, sometimes it'll work, but not if the guy stays tight. So this little shift on the foot where you put your pinky toe in the mat. Notice my heel goes up. It's a little bit easier like that than using the whole foot. This is a little awkward. Pinky toe in the mat. And then I shift my butt that way so that I can have room already for my foot to come out and go. When I switch sides, I just did that. I just shifted and went this way. This leg is stuck deep. There's a knee right here. I cannot just pull my leg out. So the knee is here, right? My fist is the knee. And the knee is here, and the hip kind of goes about here somewhere. It still doesn't come through the hole. So when I drag my leg, I'm going to leave my fist here. When I drag my butt out, now my knee fits, see? So I'm dragging my knee to fit. Now, the second move we're going to do now is the same as the one we did over here, but it's more important. So I just pull this out into a tight space and just slid through the crack. The knee was here, it slides through the crack, so now it's here. I can't pick my foot up. And so the next little battle has to happen by using the same movement again. This foot's on the ground. I pivot my butt the other way and make some space between my heel and my butt. If there's not enough, I'm going to play here and defend and do what I do, while this foot eventually, watch this space between my butt and my heel, make some more space. And now I hold it here, because his leg is locked up right here. He can't come past my leg. And when I'm ready, I have all this movement now. I come off his leg, around his leg, and back to guard. Okay? Make sense? So those two little pivots of the foot are where the power is had and where the move falls apart. So elbow over the leg first, and then make sure you do those little pivots. Really visualize where those legs are. Okay? Let's try 10 on each side and see how it goes. 1, 2. But again, just like in the bump, when we do this stretch with the arm, it's a nice visual to really help me imagine what I'm trying to do. It's like, you know, the signpost, the finger pointing. I'm trying to reach for Shirley, right? I tend to be more aggressive with all the action if I do that. As opposed to this, sometimes you get lazy and you fall down. Problem is that the drill, the trick becomes part of the movement sometimes. So I don't want that to happen either. So now, I'm on this side. I just elbow escaped here. I swiveled. I trapped the leg. And now where is his knee on the second part of my movement? Kind of right next to my hip, right? So he's got one knee kind of here. His hip is here. His other leg is going straight through here. His other knee is here. His knee is like below my groin. So imagine his foot is laying, his leg, my leg's here. His leg is laying here. If I come around his leg, and I trap it. So his leg is going through my legs now. Make sense? Okay. So now this knee is over here somewhere, but I can't just pick my knee because it hits. So make your own fist and put it there. Help yourself see it, right? Now, this leg goes dead, and my butt and my hips, you drag the leg out with the use of this foot. So I lean on my shoulder. I'm going to keep my fist here. I drag my butt back, and now I can see I made clearance. That makes sense? That kind of help you see the idea of what you're trying to do? It should kind of let you see the amount you need to move a little bit, okay? But don't get stuck with putting, you know, the fist on the floor. 1 potato, 2 potato, right? Okay? Let's get the first leg. Where's his right knee? Good. Make a fist and put it right there. That's the knee. Can you pick your leg up now? No, it hits the leg. Drag your butt out and drag that leg out past that. Now bring it up inside the knee. See? It's a good visual a little bit. Okay, makes sense. Good. So right there, right there. No, put the leg back. Where's his right knee? Yeah, kind of. It might not be against your body. It could be something. If the guy's real flexible, it might be very wide. Your leg might come up, but it might not. So make a fist and put your hand on the floor. That's his knee. You bring your knee up now, put his knee in the way?
No.
No. So now use that as a bit of drag. Yeah, man, perfect. See how it fits? Now you can picture. That's where his knee is. So his thigh is kind of going right over the tip of your knee, right? Now when you scoot this way, it pushes. No. Put the foot back. Put your pinky toe on the floor. And now swing, like show me your butt. Stick your butt back towards me. That's the move. And now his hip just fell on your leg. Wrap around back to guard. Perfect. You got it perfect. And when you look at the pictures in the book, you'll start to see, oh, okay, you don't necessarily need a body to do this with, to learn it, but you do need to know what the body's doing. You do need to know where the parts go. No, go back, Cheryl, go back. You just turn, so do the first half. Go, escape the left side first.
The left side?
Yeah, maybe do the wrong way first. Left side first. So face that leg, that's right, turn, swivel. He sides over, you bring elbow to the knee, put that foot, you scoop back the other way. Perfect, trap that leg with the left leg, good. Now, here's the problem. Where's his left knee?
Right here.
And the on the floor, somewhere in front of your leg. So put your fist on the floor. That's his knee. So clearly you can't bring it up, right? So now leave your fist there as a guide. With your left foot, push your hips back so your leg gets dragged back. Now can your right knee slide up? Good, slide up, put the foot on the floor. No, yeah, and then swivel back towards me. Now we fell between, absolutely perfect. That's it. Now hopefully, if you guys are visualizing correctly, you really, like, does it make sense for those of you that, if it's starting to, like Anthony said, it's working from a little bit. Does it make sense when I use the metaphor of the hologram, or the analogy of the hologram, and then it's like a hologram is being formed? Do you start to see it fill in more to the pieces? Like it's kind of vague at first, but now we're after 3 classes. So does it start to become a little more clear? Oh, it's right here, it's right here, it's right here. Does it make sense?
When I was practicing at home, I was starting the position by pretending somebody was pushing my feet. I was blocking with my feet.
Okay.
And when they pushed my feet this way, that's how they would have side mounted me.
Perfect.
So I was imagining them side mounting after they threw the feet, and I would
Good.
go like this.
Good. So that's even you're even preloading the position, which is great.
Set up why he's in that position.
That's exactly right. That is one way that it'll happen. The guy will be here in your guard, your feet will be up, and I'll push the feet and throw myself in.
Right.
It's a very common pass,
I
actually.
saw that a lot.
So yeah, are you guys also fine? You're checking the rest here. Eddie's sweating. Anthony's sweating. Alejandro's like, yeah, I gotta work on it. You have to beat this kid up to make him sweat. Do you guys find yourselves thinking about this more in a different way through the course of the day? You're new here, so yeah, it's all new to you. I get that. Do you find yourself, Shirley, like just often we learn a new move in a class, like we're excited about stuff, we learn a new move, we tend to think about what it was. If it's a move that was exciting to us, wow, that was cool, I never saw that arm lock before, it tends to float in your head. Are you finding this thinking process floating in your head a little bit more?
Yes.
Are you thinking about what I did this, oh, I see what the knee is here, and okay. So that's what happened to us in the early days. And again, it's not that I was so, or we, I'll talk about our generation as a collective, because many of us, especially in the Northeast, away from California, and the West and the Midwest, had the same thing. Nobody to train with. So it wasn't like we were all so intelligent and said, look, we need to visualize and do these visualization drills. We were just so excited. Most of us had come from some martial art. I did karate for a bunch of years. And those of us that were really into the actual combative art of a martial art were turned on by this like crazy. So sport karate guys who were really big at the tournaments, or kata, and just doing the bow staff, and yeah, this was mildly interesting to them. But those of us that really focused on karate and how it could be used in everyday life, like we were discussing, in clubs, in a bar, in a situation, one of the questions that came up between a friend of mine all the time was like, I wasn't flexible. I could never kick you in the head. That fear does not exist between me and you for you. My foot is never going near your face. But I was a groin shot, leg kick, knee guy, and all that stuff. Friends of mine were headhunters. But they weren't headhunters when they first walked in the room. It required a 15-minute stretching practice. It required basics up and down the floor. And then when the 40 minutes was over and we sparred, then they could kick me in the head. But how does that kick in the head work for that guy who has no time to warm up? And now the ground is uneven. Maybe it's a little slippery. It's on gravel or ice. It's not a flat, perfectly wood floor. We have wood floors, beautifully swept wood floor. Traction was good. Warm was good, flexibility was good. Kind of wasn't designed in my mind for that moment, okay? So when we started to see this, it sparked such a bell of truth for what real self-defense, in my mind, was supposed to look like, and the theories and philosophies attached to it. It wasn't just techniques. The theories and philosophies attached to it were mind-altering. It changed my approach to karate even. The way I started to look at strategy in karate, hunting the guy down and back and forth. It changed my philosophy. It changed my fight. It changed everything. And so when something's that exciting and that literally that revolutionary, man, it just gets exciting. And how do you not think about something that's exciting? We talked about going on a trip. You're planning a nice trip to Spain 3 months away. Man, your friends are going to get sick of hearing about Spain by the time you go. Shut up with Spain already. But it's exciting, and you can't help but think about it. And that's what happens. So I'm hoping in part with this kind of concept and training mechanism that we're forced into now, that at least you guys will see the excitement in a way that I did, that will hopefully change and elevate it and bring a whole new brain center to your training. Okay, that's kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. And I'm really curious, as we playfully call Anthony the science experiment. It's his first class. He's never seen Jiu-Jitsu before other than a TV. He's never trained before. Maybe some fighting, some training, you know, older guy, probably in a few fights. He gets it. Again, he gets it in the way that when I speak the truth here, he's going to go, oh man, he's right. He doesn't know I'm right. Who am I? He doesn't even know me. But he knows the truth from his experiences, and we all know when someone else speaks the truth, it just resonates. And you go, oh, I don't know why I know, but this guy knows what he's talking about. And that happens. So him, looking just through the workbook, putting those pictures, his only visual is a picture in a workbook from our class. Go home and look at the elbow escape. See what oh, I see what you mean. And so it's really going to be interesting when he gets a partner, how well that translates. Now, do I think you can learn this effectively without a partner? No, but you can learn it. And can you learn it effectively only with partners? No, not fully, because all of these training modalities have a certain thing they bring to the table that certainly improve everything else. Of course, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd pick a partner. That's obvious, right? But it's not to say that this is minimized and this is like not important and oh, we're only doing this because we have to. Because I think when this is all said and done, I'm probably going to keep a class like this as a regular thing once a week. Just as, and it'll be, I'm not full of people. It won't be 4 or 5 people like this now. Okay? All right, enough talking from me. Let's jump up to the clinch. Stand in base, please. We're going to cover that. Anthony, oh, Anthony's been watching the book. I'm watching. He's cheating. He's learning ahead. He's looking ahead of the book. So the clinch now, right? We're going to, again, back up. Selling a picture. So we're going to talk a little bit. I know it's warm up because I'm not going to talk a lot, but I'm going to remind you the importance of selling a thought, selling an idea. If I'm going to get in a fight with a guy here and I put my hands up like I'm pleading, please don't, please don't. My posture here says I'm kind of ready for something. Shoulders are all forward. I'm leaning forward. I'm kind of ready to strike. If I'm really, really afraid, my stance comes back a lot. So much so that my front foot is very light. And by light, I can pick it up easily. I don't do the toes thing. I'm not doing a cat stance like the karate. I just lean all the way back. Watch my leg. It'll naturally slide back and just gets light. So all my weight's back here. Come on, come on. Hands up. Even how I approach it. No closed fist. Hands up, hands together, hands in front of my face. So if you want to throw a punch, you're not coming straight to me. You're going to make it easier. You're going to give me more of a roundhouse punch, right, which is easier to defend than somebody going up the middle. If I'm throwing punches up the middle, this is more difficult. You put your hands up in the middle, it forces me to come around, which is much easier to defend. So all of this has a lot of stuff going on, right? Posturing, present. Remember, we're talking about backing up a little bit, leaning, stepping and clinching, posture. Get the waist down by the belt. Use your belt as a guideline. Pull him in. I lean. I step forward as he falls. Hand, knee, hand, knee. Make sense? Okay. 1, 2. Everyone else, keep going. Unless you want to watch. You're more than welcome to watch. That's a secret. Where am I? So, sequence of events. You're standing here good. You're covering up like somebody has hit you. And then you're stepping in and grabbing. Doesn't make sense. So if I throw this big punch at you, cover up, boom. Now, I'm on top of you. How can you step in and hug me? Do it again. Look right where you hit. Now, imagine, you're in my chest. Now do what you did now, step in and hug me. Does that feel kind of unusual? Like I'm here. You just step and move me. But you need to do it all at the same time. So the clinch is good, and your step is good, and the hug is good, but they're all at the same time. So as I step in to close the distance and hit you, you're going to collide with me. So step and hit, and then wrap. Yes. So you step and hit, then wrap. When you pull me in, it's kind of pulling me in and bending the shoulder over. So you're pulling my hips in and pushing my shoulders down with your shoulder. As I fall, as I start to go down, your balance gets taken. This step has to be understood a little bit, not to be too big. As I fall, I have your hips. As you go down, your hips are going to land here. I'm going to step kind of next to your hip. Okay? Again, visualization's a little tricky now because you've never done it really. So step and clinch, hug. Now, as you pull me in and bend me backwards, freeze, I'm foot. You have my hips. As I fall, step next to my hips. Perfect. Now, hand, knee. Other knee. I'm going to right hand first. Right. The hand, knee, and there you go. Perfect. The little cues, little visual cues are going to be helpful. So don't move your weight. Keep your balance just where it is. No, you move it. Don't move it. Move it. Yeah. Pick up your front foot without moving your weight.
Oh.
Can you? Now you move your weight. Your weight has to be back so far already that the front foot can get lift up. So lean back more. Bring your front foot closer to you. Close. Bring the front foot closer. More. Put your hands out more. You look scared to death to me right now. That's perfect. And so now pick foot up. It's easy. So what that means is you can pick it up and propel yourself forward in an instant. So propel and cover. Other foot. No. Don't step back with the back foot. The front foot goes. Yeah. See how easy that step was? So go back in one more time, all the way to the back. It felt like, look, that front leg can be very close to the back. It's okay. Mine gets very close. My legs aren't long and flexible. So now, because it's so light, you can, in an instant, pick it up and step forward. Okay, go. So don't swing it back like that. Go again. Don't swing the foot back. Go. Just watch it. Just pick it up and go. Just pick it up and go. That's the move. One more time. Pick it up and go. Good. One more time. Hands out more. Pick it up and go. Good. Now stand the way you did before. Spread your legs more. No. Spread your legs a little bit wider. Now do the same move. Pick it up and go. You feel the dip? You see you have to lean back? That little lean back. Do it again. I want you to feel that lean back. Yeah, that's how you were before. So in order to pick it up, go back. In order to pick it up, put the leg forward more. Put the weight on both feet like it was. Don't cheat now. Put it on both feet. In order to pick it up, you have to lean back a little bit. And then step. That lean back takes time. By the time you lean back, I've already stepped in. It's like you're doubling how long the move takes to work. If that makes sense. Okay? So feet close together. Weight back, hands out. Yeah, now just step and go. Pick it up and go. That's it, much better. But after that, clinch first. Perfect. Now hug. Now pull them in, drive them backward. They fall, step in with it. Good. Right hand down. Right knee down. Left hand, left knee. That's it. Perfect. I step and I hit, I wrap, I pull him in, I bend and I mount. Or, as he swings the right hand at me, right? He's swings the right hand at me, clinch. I go around. Maybe it went over me. Maybe he's overswung it. Or maybe I like the idea of getting to his back. So imagine the guy. I'm here now. I just threw the punch and I'm here. My back is kind of square to that way as the attacker. And I'm in the guy's chest. Once I hug him, if his right arm is, let's say, the closer one, I could kind of shuck his arm over my shoulder and get to his back. And so you'll notice my position when I say to his back. I already said before, his body is this way. His shoulders are square to that side, right? So if I was on his back, I would simply be here, wouldn't I? Makes sense, on his back. That's where he faces. Yet when I step in from here and shuck the arm and come around, I'm here at the same position. Because on the back isn't literally standing on his back. Not here. So if I'm here the attacker, you're not behind me perfectly, you're kind of off at the angle. Right, so my feet are here. My feet, as the attacker, my feet stay here. As the Jiu-Jitsu guy, one foot is here, and one foot is here. So I'm kind of off in a catty corner-ish thing. And what that does is stop the ability for you to hit me in the groin. Can't pick the foot up and your legs bend. You don't come up this way. I'm close this way. My head is glued to your shoulder blades. So if I pick my head up to look at what's going on, you can hit me with the elbow. But if my head is glued to your shoulder blades or your shoulder, it doesn't exist. And now so the move is going to be basically Okay, I'm on the corner. Let me switch sides. So I'm going to be, he's the attacker. I'm the attacker. On the guy's back, me, the Jiu-Jitsu guy. Right foot's here, left foot's here. So we're kind of in that position. If I want to take him down this way, I'm going to put this foot behind his leg. The sole of my foot behind his leg, right? I put it behind his leg, and it's on the floor for balance for now. But normally it would be in the air. Behind his foot. And I'm going to sit and hang the weight back, so when he wants to catch his balance, his foot wants to come up into this. But because my foot's behind it, he can't. When he goes to pick it up, he's going to fall. It's difficult to do like this freeform because hanging on the person actually makes it easier. So we're going to practice it from here. I want you guys to use the wall as a tool. And so I'm on the guy like this, the position I'm in. And it's a nice way to see the parallel because if he was here, right, his body and chest would be parallel with the wall. So it helps me form a visual that I'm this angle on the wall, I'm that same angle on him, right? So I'm on his back. What I'm going to do here, his feet are this way. Okay, I'm trying to paint the hologram. I'm assuming you guys know all of it. You don't know it. The guy's facing here. My foot is here and here. Okay? I'm going to knock him this way, backwards. But I'm going to go against the wall, so my shoulder's on the wall. And all I'm going to do here is put this foot behind his foot, and I'm going to sit on this knee, on this heel. That's the move. This foot's behind his foot, his left foot's right here. I just hung on to his hip, he's falling backwards. So let's do this a few times. And when we feel like we can do it in the open, this is a really great warm-up as a general movement. Once I sit, he's going to fall, I'm going to fall, tuck my elbow, and then mount. Okay? Let's stick with the first part first. Let's try spotting the movement, see how it works, okay? Eddie's knee is bugging him a little bit. And it's interesting because most times when people do this move, like me, this is my new hip, this hip, it doesn't have the full range of flexibility I want it to have, yet the muscle is still tender. And of course, this one's getting bad now. So my hip problem is when I sit and squat, it's not going to let me go as low as I want. So I have to use the wall to go slow. And often this knee becomes the problem. This knee is never bothering anybody. So that knee is bothering is kind of weird to me a little bit. But okay, no big deal. We deal with it. Just because he has a bad knee and can't do the full movement doesn't mean he has to stop practicing. And this is what makes a difference, guys, with people who train. It's like the famous Chris Howder. Chris Howder is one of the first 12 black belts to get a black belt in the country. What they call them the Dirty Dozen, right? Chris Howder has some really great quotes. He talks about the black belt and the training. And one of the things he says, which is, I think, brilliant, it's not about who's left. You see all the people in the room here. It's not about who's best in this room. It's about who's left. And so when you're training, are you going to be the one that's left? Are you going to be here? You're going to see. Are you going to be here 10 years from now? Another great quote ahead is, look, you're going to be somewhere in 10 years from now. You join the school now. You train consistently and regularly, and don't sacrifice the whole rest of your life. You just add this to your life. You're going to be somewhere in 10 years, right? Yeah. Why not be a black belt too? 100%. So, two of my favorite Chris Howard quotes. So now, you could just start, Eddie, if getting to this position is painful, but you could use the wall to spot you. Use the wall to spot a few times. Then sit leg here, right? Bring your leg as high. So let's say your leg can't go all the way here, where it would ideally be. I leave it out here. I leave it where I can do it. And I fall to the side. I tuck my elbow, and I roll over my arm and let my hip come up. So one detail, Anthony, we don't want to do this, obviously. And everyone does it. It's a habit. Like, they put their hands up when they fall. But you can feel that pointy part of your elbow, how it's going to shatter when you hit. And so when you tuck the elbow, here's what you don't want to do. You don't tuck it in front of you. So when I land, I don't land on my shoulder and my lat. It's not bad, but it doesn't help me. So check this out when you do it. I want you to try both ways. So right now I landed, guys. My arm is not under me. Okay? And notice when I fell, my butt just stayed here. My hips just stayed right where they are. If I tuck my arm under my lat, like next to my lat, I'm going to run across the meaty part of my arm, so it's not going to hurt. And then watch what happens. Because of that wedge, watch this. Look how my hips come up. They rock. This mechanism helps my legs come up very easily.
I don't even have to try to do it, right? So you come over here a second. I want to see you on the camera. So make a start at it. So just sit down like normal. Finish position, right? Leg out, leg bent, body grabbed. Spin your body, so point your legs that way. Yeah, I want to see your elbow. More. Good. So land first once, put your elbow like a kickstand. Obviously wrong. And then you would tuck in it, go back. You would tuck in it like in front of your ribs and landing on the side. Now right there. Is it easy to roll your hips up? No. Yeah, kind of awkward. Right. Go back up. This time, tuck it almost like next to your lap, like you do. Deeper, deeper. No, deeper to the back. Yes. Now roll, slow. Ah, feel the difference? That little wedge creates like a, right, and you're not landing on the point, so go again. I want you to feel the side of the muscle and the meat you land on. And that little elbow props you up to continue the movement. So thank you. So these are the things we're looking at, guys. When we talk about technique and efficiency and not using strength, yeah, that's the start of it. But now where can we slide little things to make things really easy? You know, there's positions in the side mount where we hold it back and the arm goes under the back of the body. And you can't roll over a certain way. It seems like nothing. And this little arm seems like nothing, but it's the opposite effect to advantage of me. It's like when you watch them pull a plane into an airport. How do they stop the plane from rolling around? You notice? Plane's parked. They put it in park. They put it in park. What do they do now?
Little block.
They put a little block, a little wedge, a little 8-inch wedge, each side of the wheel. That little wedge, this gigantic plane can't move. And so in top side, when we hold the belt behind the back, a position you may not be familiar with, when we hold the side bump with the belt, it's like we put that wedge under the back and the guy can't roll me over. Well, if you do the wedge the opposite way in this case, we're creating a wedge in a place that's ineffective for that, but it affects the opposite movement. We put it in a place where we're allowed to roll over it, and then we get up like a little on-ramp, okay? It's kind of like rolling something out this door right here. We have a door and a 3-inch step. So I'm pushing a dolly, and I just hit the step. It'd be very difficult to get it out the door. Now I could get it. I could lean on it, tip it, push it. We could do all that stuff we do when we're moving into a new house, right? Not fun. But if I can get a nice little piece of wood, a ramp, take that same ramp that held the airplane wheel, point in first, the wheel can't roll up, I turn it around, I put the high part against the step, and the ramp coming down, whoop, I go right over it. So the same tool used in different ways has the preferable leverage technique for us. Does that make sense? Okay, let's work through some breathing exercises. Any questions, first of all, any questions on this stuff? Any questions on these movements? So again, we got to have a lot of one step, you know, 1 step forward, hopefully 2 steps, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. Say it right. So we reviewed today the bump, the upa, the elbow escape, the clinch, to the mount. And again, when we do these, it's nice to, what I like to say is kind of finish the sentence a little bit, or finish the paragraphs. When you take down, you mount the guy, you mounted. While you're here, it's going to take you 6 seconds. Maintain, practice some of this, practice the push, practice the lift, walk, lift, walk. He rolls over maybe, under deep, choke. Take me 5 seconds to just throw a couple of finishing words into the conversation, right? It's like free practice. And again, because it'll help you connect the back end of the story, the front end starts to fall into place a little bit. Just like when you imagine the guy in the bottom, from bottom side, you took it upon yourself to imagine, okay, why am I here? The guy's got my feet, he throws them to the side, he comes in, and now we're here. So you front load the story, which helps imagine things too, okay? So good stuff. With training and exercise, you're never going to work past the point of pain, right? It's like Butch used to say, right? With the bodybuilding, the training, big expressions, no pain, what?
No gain.
No gain. Butch has a famous finish to it. He's like, look, if everyone stops that sentence short, it's really no pain, no gain, no brain. You're training stupid. If you're in that much pain, you're just being dumb. And so even, like I'm rehabbing a hip now, right? A lot of squats, or deadlifts rather, deadlifts, a lot of silly looking movements with my legs in a band. And you do train to a certain point of failure, but it's never that I couldn't do a bunch more. I train, I get in, get out. When I walk out, I'm like, oh, I feel good. I'm not crippled for 3 days. Can't walk downstairs. If you guys have ever had bodybuilder friends, people train hard, they're crippled sometimes, literally crippled. Thank you, Butch. Butch did that to me once. I literally couldn't walk downstairs for 3 days. I'm in a boiler room working. I had 3 steps to go into the pit. I was going like a walker down the handrail. I could not walk. I'm not kidding. I'm not even being dramatic. And Butch knows it's true. Butch has been there too. You train that hard. It's not, look, for that goal set, great, not us. And just like this too, common practice, set of stuff. Well, doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that, right? You work around it. So you can't do that movement for now. I would suggest some kind of rehab for it. Get it looked at. It might be a problem. I'm not saying don't go to a doctor. Get it looked at. You might have an issue. You might have to do something like I'm doing, some therapy, some band work, strengthen it, condition it. Of course, diet's always a big deal, right? You know, just what you eat. I'm not saying drop 100 pounds. Just saying, just, you know, feed your body, it's medicine. So, you know, we're all guilty of maybe not doing the best we can with that. So, if it's hurting, look at all the other things you can do too. Just like getting into a fight. The real solution to how do I solve the problem of a fight is long before the fight started. Why am I here in the first place? Yes, I need to solve this problem. So please tell me how to stop this guy from beating my face in. Great, we'll solve that problem in the short term a little bit, but big term, man, what are you doing to get in all these fights? And what are you doing to get your knee in trouble? So there's a prequel to all these stories that are important, okay? So you can certainly train around like we did today, which I recommend highly. If I'm asking you to do something you know it's gonna hurt, don't do it. Mike, it's gonna hurt my knee. Okay, don't do it. I don't know what's gonna hurt your knee. I see you wince a little bit and I go, that's not good. So, you know, speak up. Don't let anybody tell you to do something you know is not good for you. You guys all know that. You're 13 years old now? Yeah, start learning that quick. You're in charge of your life. Not even your parents. They're going to love me for that one. Not even your parents. You can choose to listen to them or not anytime you want. It would probably be a good idea to listen to them most of the time. But if you have a difference of opinion, I talk to them about it. My kids are always allowed to tell me no, but not like that. Come on, it's dinner time. I'm not done playing my game yet. That's not the way to do it. Dad, I got 2 minutes left on my game. Can I finish this first? That's a reasonable question. Alejandro, you can't do this, but I want to. Now you sound like a 5-year-old. But Dad, I would like to go to that because of this. You know, talk to them like an adult. You own your life, okay? So again, even in silly situations like this, no. Shirley's a woman. Women hopefully get good at speaking up to their comfort levels in certain rooms. This could be a very awkward room for a woman. You know, if we have women come in, I speak to them a lot about speaking up. You know, don't ever make me put you in a position that you're not comfortable with, because that's not my intention. You know, if I don't show you comfortable training, I always ask the women, are you comfortable training with this guy and that guy? Because there is a male-female component that's can be awkward. I mean, really, it could be like, I should ask everyone that question, really, because everyone has that opportunity, but the male-female thing is an interesting cross-section. So, anyway, we're not getting too crazy. Let's all sit up today, just sit up comfortable. Let's do some breathing right now. Let's do the same exercise we've been doing. Again, there's a lot of reasons to do this. It's kind of a breath meditation. I primarily do it for the initial skill set of fighting. So, there's lots of breathing patterns you can use that create different things in the body. 10 in, hold for 5, out for 20, all different stuff like that. What I personally like to do this for is if I'm in a match where I can't breathe, and I can't breathe the way I would like to breathe, but I can, I don't want the fact that I can't breathe slower than I'm capable of or able to make me stop the fight. So if I can stay on bottom and do inhales for 50 and 60 seconds in slow, like I'm breathing through a straw. For those of you in the clubs, when I start training more, I think cocktail straw. Imagine putting a cocktail straw. You got a little red straw? Imagine breathing through that. And that's what I try to really get my head going. Like just slow, and I count in. Okay? So we're gonna do it. We're gonna count it as high as we can. Hold it for like 5 seconds. Let the oxygen get kind of utilized in the lungs, let the body take it. Dump it in like 1.5 seconds. And then when you inhale, don't just go, don't make the turnaround the gulp. Make the turnaround the very slow on-ramp. Okay, that's part of the control. Because your body wants to gulp. Your brain wants to gulp. You have to override that system a little bit and teach your brain you're in charge, not it. Okay? How many, Alejandro? Hi. Did you count? How long it takes you to breathe in? So when you start the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. So do one more while I'm talking to these guys. You're going to start to breathe in as slow as you can. When you can't breathe in anymore, how many seconds was that? So I start to breathe in, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm breathing in, 5, 6. I can't breathe anymore, 19, 20. 20 is my number. How long it takes you to breathe in? Full breath. Anthony, how long? 15, 1, 5.
21.
How many? 21. You guys are having the same numbers pretty much, right? So it's not a bad thing, but you're not improving it. So hopefully we'll get... Shirley? 15. So you think how lungs are much bigger or smaller than yours, Eddie?
What was that?
How lungs are bigger or smaller than you guys? They're probably smaller. So she's probably breathing slower than you are. You try that last one? 11? Okay. The goal, guy, is length, okay? All right, so will you please stand up and base? So if you guys aren't training yet, let me just give you a quick shot of the room here. This is what we're doing. Guys are in their squares. We got Alejandro here in the bigger of the 4 squares. We got a square here. I think that's like 6 by 12. Possible 2-person square for Anthony and Shirley. Anthony and Shirley come, they go there. 6 by 6 square there. Another 6 by 6 square here. Anthony in the third 6 by 6 square. Eddie, superstar drummer, in the other bigger square. And of course, I got about 12 feet. So these squares, guys, just so you know, for those of you who are concerned, every square is 6 by 6, separated by a 6-foot square. So that means if Shirley's in the center of that square and someone's in the center of that square, that's 12 feet. So never closer than 6, almost always closer to 12 feet is what it looks like in reality, okay? So we're just going to wrap up now, guys. When we leave, just so you guys know and see what's going on, when they come in, they check in through the front door. We're going to leave now. Anthony will leave first. He'll grab his shoes. He'll go. Eddie will follow him. And we'll just go with that, guys. Check out some AV over here. Here's the monitor. We can kind of see what's going on. Oh, look, it's like an infinite TV. Look at that. It goes and goes and goes. Look at that. That's so cool. Look at the TV, Eddie. That's like a constant reverb. Yeah, we got the soundboard. Anthony's creation. This will be leaving soon. Going to move all this behind the desk, neaten it all up. Tripod from the floor, tripod on the ceiling. I get to carry the camera too. All right, guys. With that, let's about Elio, please. About you guys. And we're going to wrap it up. Good job, guys.